I bought a shop in one of the richest towns in America for less than the price of this car. So we're just minutes away from the shop here in downtown Summit. As you can tell, there's tons of boutiques, high-end ice cream, there's a hair extension place, jewelry. We've got a lacrosse store. You know they're rolling in it. Here's a local real estate office with an average sale price of $1.7 million per home. So let me tell you how I ended up buying this store. I owned about 6 stores in Pennsylvania. There was another owner who had this location plus 6 more here in New Jersey. And I approached him about buying just one of his locations. He came back to me and said, Brian, instead of buying one, why don't you buy all 7 of them? We've learned over the last couple years now is, the more money that we can put into, how the buildings look and feel, that, customers appreciate it, our employees appreciate it, and ultimately it becomes a really good return on our investment. And that's the same across every store, whether you're in the rich area or not. So over the last few months, we've been remodeling a bunch of our stores. This store specifically had one of the oldest waiting rooms from like the 70s. We'll throw some pictures here. Because of the area and because we knew that people who come here would really appreciate a nice clean waiting room, we decided to just finish it up. Just as an example, the style was before. We're gonna use that for storage, so no one's gonna see that. New signage, this coffee machine I'm about to throw out. No, we're just joking with you.
I saw your YouTube video throwing one away.
Oh yeah, you saw that? You saw that?
I did get a little nervous when I saw it.
So Summit is one of the richest towns in America. Did you know that?
I knew that, yeah.
Okay. Do you guys see a lot of these higher end cars?
Highest end car I've worked on here was I think it was a 2011 Bentley Flying Spur, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it was just an oil change. I would say day to day, higher end, we get a lot of Land Rovers, BMWs.
You think a lot of times it's like the dad has the more expensive vehicle and then the kids or whatever have the other one? Is that kind of the vibe?
That is the vibes.
At the time, I knew nothing about any of these stores. I had never been to this site or honestly any of them. And truthfully, I didn't even know this was one of the richest cities in America until a couple weeks ago when I really started to dig in for this video. There's just this question though of, does it make more money? Is it worth it? I'm on a journey to get to $100 million in revenue. We were trying to buy new stores literally every single week. I'm looking at them. And there's kind of this question of, do I want to continue to buy stores in areas like this or not? Do I really want to be in more middle class areas where it's a little bit cheaper for real estate? And there's more people who maybe need their cars fixed than around here where someone could just trade in their car and go get a new one. One of the things that's pretty unique about this store is the wide variety of cars that we work on, Toyota, Nissan, but then we'll have a Land Rover, we got a Mercedes in there, then it's the Kia, the Chevy, and then a Volvo, right? It's not all the Aston Martins and crazy cars, but we do definitely work on some of the higher end ones, but then often it's like the kid or kind of like, the second or third cars in the family are the ones that we work on. And dad's, crazy cars at the dealership.
You guys normally service brand new cars?
Yeah, sometimes like the first oil change or tire rotation. So we do a lot of enterprise rent-a-car, oil changes and tire rotations and whenever they need brakes and tires. So it's good. Lower margin, they pay a little less in retail, but we do a lot of them. So the question is, how does this store do compared to my others? In terms of sales, it is one of my best stores. It's in the top 25%. But what really drives sales more than anything else, it's not the location, it's not the amount of money people have, it's the people, it's the teams that we put in place. We can go into any store, no matter where it's at, and if we can put the right team, following the right process, that's how we create value, that's how we help poor people, that's how we make more money, and everybody wins. But one thing that is very different about this location compared to my others, and my other locations, we do a ton of consumer financing, right? Auto repair is expensive, and in my other stores, about 30% of our business is financed. Here, it's only about 5%. Repairs are more expensive. To them, they can more easily afford it, and they don't need the payment plans, which in my mind is, I don't want to say a bad thing. What we've seen is that people who do utilize our payment plans, that utilize the financing, end up spending more money with us over time. Like they become more loyal and they come back more. A lot of shops and other places don't offer payment plans. And so when we can make it affordable and we can help people, get back on the road with a low monthly payment, then they end up coming back more. Not really a case here. Is this for pull-ups? Some chin-ups? Oh, that one? Okay, this one? I can't do that many of them. How many can you do?
Visual hook.
That's right. I can do 50 push-ups. I don't want to embarrass anybody. Good old Michelins, a lot of times they dry rot and start to split apart, you know, at the corners. But they still have tread. You know, they have a decent amount of tread, but then Michelins are known to have like really soft rubber, which makes them quiet. But if you don't put the miles on them, they start to split apart, like this one.
Did you notice a lot of higher end tires here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah. Is that one of the biggest differences?
Yeah, more. What do you?
I've been dealing
Yeah,
with.
yeah. It's a Michelin's and Pirellis and things like that. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they do their jobs.
Yeah, they're nicer. They stop shorter. They're fast. You know, they last longer.
Pay for what you get.
Yeah, you should. Yeah. So I'm constantly looking at new shops every day as we try to expand our automotive empire. One of the things that I'm constantly looking at are second gen automotive repair shops. So existing shops that we can go into, we can paint, we put up our banners, we change the waiting room, and we're good to go. We just did this on, beginning of February. Our 36 store was a conversion of a competitor, and those are great because they don't cost us a ton of money. We're talking like $150,000 to $200,000, do our renovation and like sign the lease and we're good to go. But the challenge is the higher income areas in the rich places like this, there aren't that many second gen automotive repair shops, like existing, boxes that we can go into. If we wanted to go into a new area, and if that doesn't exist already as a competitor who failed there, right, that we're like coming in, we'd have to buy dirt and build, which is like extremely expensive here, in the Northeast. It would probably cost me $2.5 million. In total, yes, I would like to find more like this, but there's just not that many of them compared to all the other areas we could be a lot more common. We can find shops that we can convert. So we talked about some of the differences, right? We work on higher end cars. Maybe they have less mileage. Maybe we're doing, maybe smaller repairs and tires and some things to these things. The real question is what's the same? What's not different? And at the end of the day, everyone, no matter where they live, no matter how much money they have, needs to get their cars fixed and they need to keep them on the road. It doesn't matter. So we're in stores that are in some of the lowest income areas that have very high crime, that we buzz people in and out, that we have to call the police sometimes when situations get out of control. And then we're in areas like this where we're 5 minutes down the street from an Aston Martin dealership and we got Mercedes and Land Rovers and all in the shop. And the way that we treat it as a company is all the same. Like, our focus is how do we deliver great customer service, having payment plans for people to help make it affordable, whether they have like great credit or no credit. And that's what makes this business scalable. And, I've got this goal to get to $100 million in revenue across all my businesses. And for me, simplicity scales. So the more that we can be the same and just repeat store after store after store is how we really going to grow it. Versus like if I had to treat this store differently, that would be very hard, right? And that would be a way more complex business than what we already do, which is fixing cars, which in its own right is not simple. As I look to grow and we buy more stores, I don't really care what the zip codes are. What I care about are, do we have traffic? How many competitors are nearby? Can we beat them? And we know if we hit on our things, we're gonna win. If you wanna follow along my journey to building a $100 million a year company, check out this video here and be sure to subscribe.